team. But, a lot of us are selling products and services. But have you ever thought about your intellectual property, your expertise? I have an expert here who is my sister from another mister. Like, we go way back. We go way back before crack. I just made that up. So she has been my sister a long time. But what I do know that she has built an empire off of her expertise of what she knows. And the great thing is that she is so open to share how she's done it and how you can do it too. And Cheryl, I just wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to come and pour into the dualpreneurs to show the world that you can make $100,000 and more just off of what you know of being an information expert. Because a lot of people, they may be in here and they may be selling products, or they may be in a network marketing, or maybe whatever. But I can tell you, I have made more money as being a subject matter expert, of doing speaking engagements, of consulting, or even teaching than I have of any book that I've sold. So I can't wait for you to share that. So as you're coming on here, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then just go right into, we're ready. I got my notes ready. We're ready to take some notes of how we can make this $100,000 or more as an info expert.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here with my sister from another mister. And I love that you're doing this because, well, first, let me just share why I love the whole concept of dualpreneur, because that's where I started. A lot of times we look at people's current status, like where they are right now, and we think they've always had it all together. We think they've always had all the answers, or we think that they had some unique circumstance that we didn't have that made them a better fit for the thing called success. And so I want every person who's watching and who looked at the replay to understand that where I am now is not where I started. I started at ground zero, just like anybody else. In fact, I was working a full-time job when I started my business, but it was through being in motion, being in movement, being consistent, showing up repeatedly, that has allowed me to get to this place where I am today, where I am an information expert who is I've generated well over $1 million in my business as a speaker and a coach. So it's doable. So when we talk about 100,000, like that's on the lower end. That's just to say you can generate an additional 100K on top of whatever you're already doing, because there may be some of these things that we're going to talk about tonight that maybe you haven't thought about, maybe you aren't incorporating yet in your business, or maybe it's just a reminder. And I know that reminders, repetition is the mother of all learning. So reminders is always a good thing for us as well, especially applying what you hear to today, like tweaking it where it applies and it fits and it makes sense for the climate that we're currently in, which is an uncertain client. But that doesn't mean you can't make money just because we're in a space of uncertainty. In fact, now more than ever, people are looking for information, right? They're looking on information on, how do I live a better life? How do I get started on building my dream? How do I manage my finances? How do I stay healthy and well in this time frame that we're in, where I'm quarantined at home? There's so many how do I's that people are currently looking for. So I don't want you to ever think that just because we are going through uncertain times right now and things are changing and things are different than we've ever seen them before, that you're still not needed. Like, your voice is still needed. In fact, I'd argue to say that it's needed more now than ever before. So again, just to give you a little background about where I started my business as a dualpreneur back in 2009. I was still working a full-time job as a legal secretary in corporate America. I did that for 15 years because that's what I knew how to do. I did it well. I made great money, and I didn't want to rock the boat for a long time. I was really afraid about rocking the boat because the background that I grew up in was one of poverty. It was one of scarcity. So to be able to land a gig as a legal secretary, I was making six figures as a legal secretary in corporate America. Like, you don't want to mess that up. But there was something internally that was pulling me to say, Cheryl, you're supposed to be doing something else, something that's connected to your legacy. Because my name was never going to be on the outside the building of that law firm that I was working for. That was never going to be a part of my legacy. That was just a means to an end. And when I became a mother and I have these 3 kids looking to me as an example of what it means to live your dream, or at least pursue your dream with tenacity, I wanted to walk the talk. I didn't just want to preach and teach to my kids, hey, you can be anything that you want to be. Hey, you can create a legacy, you can create wealth, but I hadn't done that myself. So that pulling really became stronger in 2009. I started this little t-shirt business called Moms Are the Best on the side. That was my side hustle at the time. And that is what detoured me into speaking. So it was because I got started and I interrupted what was normal for me and decided to do something new and something uncomfortable that you're looking at and talking to and listening to Cheryl Wood, Dr. Cheryl Wood, the international speaker today. Had I never started that t-shirt business, even in a space of uncertainty, even in a space of discomfort, I wouldn't be this person who I am today, this information expert. So just kudos to each and every one of you who are building your side hustles, even while you're still working your full-time jobs. I never bash people for keeping their full-time job, because let me tell you something about direct deposit. That thing right there is beautiful, right? You show up, you don't even have to be a great employee, but you show up and get that direct deposit. You know, in 2 more weeks that direct deposit is going to be there again. Like, I get it. But you also have to know what your spirit is calling for. And if it's calling for something more, if it's calling for you to pursue something entrepreneurial, you can do that while you're still doing your full-time gig. Like, that's why I am who I am today. So over the past 10 years in business, man, I've had so many amazing experiences, and I've developed credibility over time in becoming an information expert. So I think two things. Number one, just know that becoming an information expert isn't an overnight thing. It requires time, it requires energy, it requires effort, it requires consistency. And then number two, it's also important that you don't diminish your ability as an information expert and what you know, your personal experiences and your acquired knowledge over the course of however many years you've been here on this earth. Like, there's something that you know that somebody else wishes they knew. So yes, there are always people who know more than you, but there's always somebody who knows less than you, and they want access to what you know. They want to know, oh my God, how do you do that? How do you speak so well? Or how do you do money the way you do money? And, or how do you cook those healthy meals? I'm just giving some examples of some businesses you guys might be into, right? And they want access to it, but they can't buy what you won't sell. And say that again. They can't buy what you won't sell. And too many of us are keeping our knowledge to ourselves because we are assuming that there are already enough experts in the marketplace, or we're assuming that our level of knowledge is not at a high enough level that someone would invest in it. And so from this moment forward, I want you to really acknowledge, and you can type this in the feed, I am a valuable information expert. What I know is needed in the marketplace. I am a valuable information expert. What I know is needed in the marketplace. You got to wake up every day with that spirit, knowing that somebody is looking for what you have. Now, here are some reasons why you might not be right now a high earning, a high generating, revenue generating information expert. So maybe you haven't crossed the 100K mark. There's a huge percentage of entrepreneurs and dualpreneurs, solopreneurs who never cross $25,000 a year. So how do you go from being in that big clump of people, that big market, that big percentage, into the smaller percentage of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, dualpreneurs who actually do cross 100,000? Well, here are some of the reasons why you might not be at that place. Number one, you don't have multiple streams of revenue. So you're putting all your eggs in one basket. You're just like, oh, I'm a speaker and that's what I do. And you're not doing anything but trying to generate your revenue from speaking, right? So you're not creating what I call diversified revenue, where you have a portfolio of offerings that you can extend in the marketplace so that you always have money coming in from at least 5 to 7 different ways. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, you might not be a high earning information expert if you aren't self-promoting. A lot of people, especially women, have a challenge with self-promotion. But if you don't promote you, who's going to promote you? Right? Like, and there is a way to do it graciously, not arrogantly. There's a way to do it confidently, where it's not egotistical. But you need to let people know who you are, what you do, and how you serve, because they're either going to pay you or they're going to pay your competitor. Now, which one where would you rather your money be going? Coming into you and your business, or to your competition? So you have to self-promote. That has to become a part of your daily process. Number three, you might not be high earning, meaning you're crossing that 100K, if you are what we consider a general information expert instead of a specialized information expert. meaning you still are just broad in the terms of what you sell and what you offer. You don't have a direct, concise explanation about what pain you solve or what solution you provide. So because you're so busy trying to talk to everybody, because you're just hoping that somebody opens their wallet and spends with you, now you're not magnetizing the people who really are the right fit, who see you as valuable and are willing to invest in what you have. That's huge. That's huge. I always like to compare it to, if I get online, and we have insurance through my husband's company, my husband works a full-time job. And if I get online and I type in general practitioner within, let's say, a 20-mile radius of where I live, I'll get a list of I don't know, 50 physicians. But if I type in pediatric specialist, that 50 dwindles down to 2. So now people can find that pediatric specialist quicker, easier, because there's less competition. So when you get yourself in that specialized market, now there's less competition. So don't be afraid to, as we say, niche down. Don't be afraid to say, I am the expert at this thing. I am a master at this thing. What is the thing that you've mastered? I like to believe that my name comes up in more conversations about teaching public speaking than any other topic. Yes, I am empowering, and yes, I do empowerment. Yes, I am motivational. Yes, I do inspiration. Yes, I can teach you how to write a book. Yes, I can teach you how to host a live event. I can teach you how to generate 100K from one live event, from one weekend event. But that is not what I want to be the first thing that's said about me. The first thing that I want people to say when they hear the word Dr. Cheryl Wood is, oh, that's the lady that teaches professional speaking. She teaches women how to articulate their message, how to master the art of storytelling. That's what I want directly connected to me. Because all the rest will come afterwards. Once you come into my space, then you'll learn about all the other things that I'm an expert in. But I am a master speaker development coach. So what is it that you have mastery over? That's important. All right. Another reason why you might not be crossing that 100K is because you just aren't visible. So some of you, Tara and I were having this conversation a little bit about being an introvert. And sometimes we want to hide and we really don't want to turn the screen on. We want to leave the webcam off, but it creates a deeper level of engagement when I get to see you. Right? Because now I feel like I'm experiencing you, not just, oh, I heard you. Audio training, audio, things like this is great, but the video portion where I get to see you creates a deeper connection. So not only visually visible, but also visible on a consistent basis. How often are you showing up? How often are you sharing what you know in the marketplace? And don't base your showing up based on how many likes you get. That is so important. Because let me tell you something. You could have the person, this is what I've learned. You could have a person who's on social media, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and they might get 2 or 3 likes and they got $1 billion business. So please make sure you focus on the right numbers. The visibility aspect is for the people who are watching. And some people are going to watch, but they're not going to comment. Some people are going to watch, but they're not going to click like. They're just going to be your kind of faithful stalkers in the background. They stalking what you're doing, but they might not comment or get engaged, but you keep doing it anyway. You keep showing up anyway for the people who know in their mind that you have the solution to their problem. And maybe they can't work with you at the moment, but maybe their intention is to work with you down the road. So you just have to keep being visible and keep showing up. And then the last 2, you might not be crossing that 100K mark because you are forgettable. Now you become forgettable when you only share facts, figures, and stats, but you don't include your story. You become forgettable because anything that you can teach me, any stats, any figures, any content, I can probably find online or I can probably find in a book. That's the reality. But what I won't get access to is your unique story that now makes a deeper connection for me, or as I like to say, creates a heart-to-heart connection, not just a head-to-head connection. So always remember this. People remember and repeat stories, not bullet points. People remember and repeat stories, not bullet points. So you have to craft a story, a compelling signature story that you're going to share every time you're sharing your expertise in the marketplace so that people remember you. When they remember you, they want to stay engaged with you. Then they want to develop the KLT factor, know, like, and trust factor, because they feel like they know a little bit more about you than just, oh, that's the company that provides financial planning, or that's the company that provides speaker training, or that's the company that provides health and wellness. They want to know a little bit more about you behind the brand name. And then last but not least, you might not be generating that 100K if you have not crafted a compelling signature talk where you're sharing your expertise in addition to the story. So you need both. You can't have one or the other. You need to have core content that you're able to teach and say, hey, I can teach you how to go from this point to this point. That's what an information expert is. And then you have to also open yourself up to the fact that people will be reaching out to you to ask you questions, because you can't call yourself an information expert if you ain't giving nobody expert advice. So why is it that information experts then get offended when people are inboxing them or messaging them, asking them for their expert advice on something? Like, isn't that what you want? So I really want us to reframe how we feel about ourselves as information experts. Now, just because someone DMs me and asks me a question doesn't mean that I give them a dissertation or I give them a free coaching session. However, I am very good about always responding and saying, that's a loaded question. Here would be my advice on how you can get started. Because if nobody's seeking my expertise, I'm not an expert. Please jot that down and remember that, okay? All right, so let me give you, there's several things I want you to walk away with, because I want you to be able to take action. I want you to be able to move. So at least now you have an idea of some of the things you might need to tweak if you're not doing this currently in your business, so that you can have that level of increased credibility that leads to profitability. All right, so I want to give you what I consider my 8 pillars of success for information experts, okay? And I didn't say speakers, because sometimes people will say, in business will say, well, I'm not a speaker. Well, technically you are. If you have a business, you're a speaker because you have to speak up about that business. Whether it's you're speaking to a client, a prospect one-on-one, or whether you're speaking to a group, a small group, and you want them to take action on an invitation that you've extended, a sales invitation, or if it's in front of a big room or group, or even on a digital platform like this, you are speaking, and you do have to clearly articulate what your value is, why they should choose you over their competitor, and what the solution is that you're going to provide. But because I don't want you to get hung up on the word speaker, we say information expert, because that's really what you are. You're dispensing information in the marketplace at such a high level of value that people say, I want to invest in it. So here are the 8 pillars of success for information experts. Number 1, mastery. Number 2, clarity. Number 3, visibility. Some of these we touched a little bit on. Number 4, authenticity. Number 5, oh, I'm sorry, I think I skipped. I'm sorry. So number 1 is mastery. Number 2 is clarity. Number 3 is visibility. Number 4 is credibility. Sorry if I messed you up there, Tara. Thank you. Credibility is number 4. Number 5 is authenticity. 6 is transparency. 7 is consistency. And then number 8 is profitability. So those are the core pillars of you becoming an information expert that's going to cross the $100,000 mark or more. So let's talk about mastery. Here's one thing I know. You cannot monetize what you have not first mastered. You cannot monetize what you have not first mastered. So are you mastering your craft? Meaning, are you getting better and better at it every single day, so that people in the marketplace see that you're not just a teacher, a trainer, an expert, but also that you are a student? Very, very important. When people see that you're a student, now there's a deeper connection. Like, okay, well, this person is not just encouraging me to be a student. They're actually taking their own advice, and they're a student. So you cannot monetize what you haven't first mastered. So what books are you reading? What courses are you taking? What training are you doing? Who are your coaches? Critical. Because now people will see the value in you offering your expertise, because you're also a student getting expertise. Number 2, clarity. You got to be clear about who you're serving. Who is the target audience, or the avatar, as we refer to it? That, like, really identifying that person as though they were one single individual. What does that person look like? What is it that they're dealing with? What's the problem, the challenges that they're facing? What are they willing to invest money in right now? Not later, not 6 months from now, but right now. They want it so bad that they're willing to say yes right now. They have a sense of urgency about it. So who is that audience? What is the big pain point that they're suffering with? What is it that they're going to keep experiencing on a negative light if they don't take action immediately? And then what is it that you produce that will give them the solution to the pain? It's almost like giving somebody Tylenol for a migraine headache, right? Like you want to reach those people who they're looking for that pain medicine right now. I've been to events and I've had like a pounding headache, and I just walk around the room like, anybody got anything? Anybody got it? Like, I don't care if it's Advil, Motrin, Tylenol. Like, I just want to get rid of the pain. You are looking for that person who is so, I don't want to use the word desperate, but they are so fired up about getting rid of the pain that they're in, that they're willing to invest in it right now. But you have to have clarity about who that is so that you can speak directly to them. And when I say speak to them at every touch point. In your newsletters, if you're doing a webinar series, if you're doing face-to-face, if you're doing a video series, doesn't matter, but you always want to talk their talk. You have to know their lingo. Very much so with when you think about like a nurse or a lawyer. Like, I used to work as a legal secretary. So lawyers have a specific lingo that they use. Like, you got to know the dialogue and the lingo of your tribe. My sister is a nurse. There's a certain lingo she uses, and I love when that she's a nurse. So when I have challenges, problems, I call her. I'm like, girl, look, this is what they telling me. She's like, go back to them and tell them or ask them this. And she gives me the specific lingo, because now I'm talking their talk and they deal with me differently. You want to be that way with your clients. So you got to be clear about that. Number 3, visibility. We talked about that. I always say visibility will always trump ability. Visibility will always trump ability, because visibility is what gets your foot in the door for the opportunity, but your ability will then keep you there. It will keep you getting rehired. It will keep people sending referrals to you. So you have to have both visibility and ability, but the visibility is the thing that gets you in the door first. So as an information expert, how visible are you on social media? How visible are you as it relates to where your tribe is hanging out? If your tribe is hanging out on LinkedIn, but you're playing in Facebook, that's not the place you want to be most visible. You gotta play where the people are who have a sense of urgency about what you offer, and they have the ability to invest in it. Okay, doesn't make sense to hang out in a place where your tribe is not, or it's just a bunch of raving fans but no paying customers. Hello, like, that's cute that people clapping for me, but I need to convert some folks. So you got to make sure that you need both, but you definitely want to have those, that income coming in. Number 4 is credibility, meaning, why are you credible? What makes you credible? And it can't just be you saying you're credible. Like, you need branches, people who are extending out from you, who say, oh my God, if you want the best speaker development coach, you need Sherwood. Oh my God, if you want the best financial planning expert, you want Tara Jackson. Oh my God, if you want the best health and wellness expert, you want this person. Like, what is that category that you want to be signified as the expert in? And then what's the credibility that you're building? Meaning, you can't just succeed. You got to help clients to succeed. And then those clients will become your walking, talking billboards, who will draw so much business to your business and to your brand that there's no way you can't cross the $100,000 mark. So you can't be the one pointing to you saying, oh, I'm so amazing, I'm so great. Like you have to point to people who have worked with you, gone through your programs, gone through your systems and your processes, and they are getting results and have gotten results. And that becomes a part of your expertise and your credibility. Number 5, authenticity, meaning everybody else is taken, just be you. Like, always show up as the real you, especially for those of you who are perhaps pursuing speaking. Like, you want to make sure you're the same person on stage and off stage. Don't be a different person. Oh, you're nice and kind and wonderful and supportive on stage, and then when you get off stage, you don't want to be bothered. You don't want to talk to people. You want to run behind the black curtain. No, be the same person on stage and off stage. And make sure that you're just always yourself. Like, when you show up, when you share your information, when you're serving clients, be you, so that you don't have to remember who you were yesterday. Like, who did I act like I was yesterday? Just always be you. Number 6, transparency, meaning you cannot just tell your success. You always have to tell your struggle in addition to the success. So be transparent, because that will magnetize more customers to you. When you try to be this reflection of perfection, you actually repel people, because now they feel like, well, I can never be her or him. I could never match up to what he or she is doing because I'm not perfect. So when you instead are transparent and say, hey, here's who I am today. This is what I've accomplished. I've spoken for NASA. I've spoken for the United Nations. I've spoken for the FBI. I've done this. I've spoken in South Africa and France. And that's great, because that is speaking directly to your success. And that lends itself to your credibility. But when you then say, but what you might not know about me is, I grew up in poverty as a young girl. I worked as a legal secretary in a 10 by 10 cubicle for 15 years when everything in me was screaming out, Cheryl, you know you're destined for something more, right? When I pull that part in, that I struggled for years to believe I was good enough to ever pursue speaking, to ever be on anybody's stage sharing a message. When I share that with you, now you sit in your seat and you're like, whoa, she's just like me. Oh my God, if she can, maybe I can too. Now you open people up, their minds up to possibility. And when their minds are open, guess what else follows? Their wallets. So you got to open their minds to the belief that they can potentially achieve something even closely remote to what you've achieved, right? With time, with effort, with energy, with an investment. But they're going to lead that then to saying, okay, I have to be willing to invest in whatever the solution is that this person is offering. Last two, consistency. You got to show up over and over and over and over and over again. People ask me all the time, Cheryl, wow, I can't believe you're still not, I can't believe, but you're still in the game. How have you done it? You're married, you're nurturing a marriage, you're raising 3 kids, you got this international business. Like, how are you doing it all and still being consistent? Because this is my life calling. Like, do you really believe that what you're doing is your life calling? Do you believe you were born for this thing? I was born for this. And nobody and nothing is going to stop me from creating my legacy, because tomorrow is not promised for me. Tomorrow's not promised for you, right? There are people, even from this experience that we're going through right now, this craziness, the COVID-19, like, people are dropping, young, old, and in between. And there are people that some of them have no symptoms beforehand. And I'm sure they thought they were going to make it back home to their families, and they didn't. So every day you have to wake up with a fire in your belly that, okay, now I'm going to repeat. I'm going to rinse and repeat. I'm going to rinse and repeat. Sharing my voice, sharing my message, sharing my expertise, selling what I have, right? Changing lives, transforming, impacting. That has to be a daily thing, not, oh, every once in a while I'm going to show up. And with consistency comes the credibility. With consistency comes increased visibility. And with consistency comes our last one, number 8, profitability. And that's important. So you can't do either or, meaning, oh, I'm going to serve, but I'm not going to sell. You have to do both. You can't just sell and not serve. You can't just serve and not sell. You have to do both so that you can cross the lines of 100K or more. Okay. All right. So the intention of every single information expert is always 2 intentions. Y'all ready? Number 1, it's always to shift people's perspective. No matter when you're sharing what you know, it's always to shift people's perspective. And number 2, it's always to offer them an invitation for them to start their shift right now by investing in it. That's always always. It doesn't matter if where you're speaking, where you're sharing, if it's a one-on-one dialogue with a potential client. Again, if you're talking on a webinar, if you're doing a conference call, it doesn't matter. Whenever you're sharing information, it's always to shift people's perspective. So you never have to feel yucky about offering a sale, because that's the number 2, because really just your responsibility is, I'm going to offer it to you. You get to choose. So you're not forcing it down anybody's throat. You're not making anybody. So a person who's going to say yes, they know that they want change now. They heard you share your message. They heard you share what you know. They heard you share your story and your journey of where you were and where you are now and how you've acquired this knowledge. And now they get to choose. That's a very freeing thing to know. I have a choice. People want choices. So I've already impacted your life because I shared this content with you. So always remember this every time you're opening your mouth to share information. I'm already changing your life because I'm sharing what I know with you. Then the second piece of that, you have a choice. You have a choice to come into this partnership with me. Here's the invitation on how you can work with me, but you get to say yes or you get to say no. It's your choice. But your job as the information expert is to always show up and make the invitation. It's not an either or. It has to be both. I'm going to serve them and I'm going to sell to them. And really, selling is nothing more than a higher level of service. Because when someone comes in and they say yes to your offer, let's say you're offering a digital training or you're offering some type of masterclass or program, and I'll talk about that in a few moments. You're always going to change their life in a bigger way than what they heard you say for the last 30 minutes. Like, I'm going to give you guys great nuggets now in 30 minutes or 35 or 40 minutes, but it's nothing compared to what you would get if you're in a program with me. It's nothing compared to the access that you gain to me and the knowledge that you get from the knowledge I've acquired, from the experiences I've had, from the failures I've made that I can help you to avoid. So you got to think about all of those things when you are extending an invitation for people to work with you. They're not paying you for your time. So you're not charging based on an hour. Oh, this is an hourly rate. Oh, this is if you have 1 hour with me. No, you're charging based on the value of what you're delivering to their life, because you know their life is going to change, that their life will never be the same once they get a hold of the information that you know. But do you believe it that strongly? Do you believe that strongly that you actually shift people's perspective and shift their lives when they say yes to working with you? And when you do, guess what you're going to do? Keep showing up so that the people who are looking for you are able to find you. All right, so there are a few ways that you can cross the 100K, right? Again, I mentioned this earlier, diversified revenue streams is what you always need to have. So this is applicable even to today. The platform may change and how you deliver it, but the diversified portfolio of these revenue streams doesn't change. So how does an information expert generate income from more than just, oh, I'm going to be on a stage perhaps and share? Number one, they're VIP days. Yes, people still invest in VIP days, meaning they want full access to you. They want a one-on-one. They don't want to share you with nobody else. And they are typically a person who invests in a VIP day. They're looking for an answer to a very specific problem, and they want to get the answer right now. They don't want to have to wait and go through a 6-week program or a 6-month program or 10 weeks. They want everything right here, right up front. They want to get access to the information, and they want to be able to act on it immediately. That's typically the people who sign up for a VIP day. And they understand that your VIP day is your highest level of investment. It is your premium offer. It is your premium offer. Nothing gets better than someone having a 7 or 8 hour day with you and only you. Are you kidding me? I personally had a VIP day with Lisa Nichols, and many of you know that name. If you don't, Google her because she's amazing. Guys, I invested $40,000 to spend 7 hours in her space with just her and I. You know why? Because I'm worth it, number one. Number two, I know who I'm becoming. But also number three, because she's an expert who is already 20, 30 steps ahead of me, which means she knows some things I don't know, and I want my hands on that. So because of that, guess what happened? I invested that amount of money. I got more content, more access to value, and then I bring that value back to my audience. So now my audience sees me as even more valuable because of what I'm constantly pouring in. And they are the direct benefactors of what I pour in. So if I'm not pouring in, they get nothing new. They get nothing of value other than, oh, what I knew in the past. No, you have to keep this as an ongoing learning process. So now, because I added that value in, guess what? I can increase my premiums because I'm increasing my knowledge level. That makes sense? So when we talk about having high ticket price points, high ticket offers, if you want to be able to have high ticket offers, you have to be doing some serious investing in yourself. And then that value will be reflected in what you teach and what you train to the people who come to work with you. So a VIP day is very valuable. Individual coaching. I still have people who do individual coaching sessions with me. Typically, I will offer individual coaching as a 3-session package, a 6-session package, or a 9-session package. And I typically do my coaching as 1 coaching session each month, every 30 days. Now, some people ask me, why do you only do it every 30 days? Why not every 2 weeks or something like that? The reason why is because people need time to take action and come back and give me a report on what the action you took was and what were the results that you garnered. If there's no space to analyze it, to assess it, to measure it, how can you come back and report to me? Like, why are we moving on to the next thing and you didn't even nail down the thing that you were given the first homework assignment? So 30 days is a good spacing apart for people to take action and come back. So individual coaching can be done through video or can be done through audio. Group coaching can be done through video or audio. Virtual training courses. So you might say, hey, I have this 5-week program, and this 5-week program is going to cost you $497. The key is to have a juicy topic and an end result. A juicy topic that speaks specifically to a pain that your tribe is looking to solve or a desire that they have that they want to achieve. So you got to have the juicy title to pull them in and magnetize them. And don't do it based on what you think they need. Like, do an assessment, do an evaluation, ask them, jump on your Facebook in your Facebook group and say, hey guys, what is it that, which of these 4 topics, which one interests you the most? Which one would you be willing to invest in next? Give them what they want, not what you think they need. All right. And then you can say, okay, well, great. Based on the feedback that I got in the group, based on the feedback from you, here's what I've created. We have this 5-week XYZ speaker intensive. And it's, you're going to get 5 2-hour sessions. You're going to get 5 handouts. You're going to get whatever it is that you're going to add into as a part of the deliverables. And you can say, hey, we're going to sell this. We're going to offer it. The value of it might be, I don't know. The value of it might be $9.97. And you say, we're going to give you a special. We're going to offer it for $4.97. Well, guess what? I'm pull out my trusty calculator here. So if you say $4.97 and you say, well, look, I'm only going to enroll 20 people in this program, you just generated $9,940. And guess for how much, when we want to break it down to time, you're really only given 5 hours. 5 hours, because you're going to do maybe 1 hour, a 1 hour session each week. Or even if you did a 2-hour session each week, because you're doing it as a group of collective virtual training, you get to train more than one person at a time, which allows you to now say, okay, we can accept more people into the program. So that quick, from one program, you generated 10 grand, shy of a couple dollars, all right? 10 grand. That's one revenue stream. Imagine if you were incorporating 5 or 6 or 7 of these revenue streams at the same time. There's no way you will not cross $100,000 for the year. There's no way. And let's break that down. Let me just break it down for you. So if you're talking about $100,000, you just want to hit the base of 100 grand. And you break that into 12 months, that means you have to generate $8,333.33 every month. $83.33 every single month. If you do that one course, that's $10K. That's your first $10K. Okay, now we're moving on to our next $10K, right? So just think about it as diversified revenue streams. I need to be doing more than one thing at a time so that I can cross the $100,000 mark. Here's some other things: masterclass sessions, train the trainer program. So I now have a speaker certification program where I certify other women speakers, but it's a rigorous program. It's a $10,000 investment. And yes, it's limited, but because it's only for the people who are really serious. Because if you're going to say, hey, I am a certified vocalized speaker who trained under Dr. Cheryl Wood, you can't be up on the stage sounding a hot mess, right? So I have to make sure there's a certain number of hours that they have to invest in it. I have to make sure that we have practice sessions. We have a 3-day intensive as a part of it. So you can craft things specifically for the audience that you want to serve and that you are consistently magnetizing. You can have membership programs. Guys, here's what I want you to do. I want you to stop thinking that low price items cannot turn a profit. I want you to stop thinking that just because you are an expert, that you can't offer anything as a low price point. Yes, you can. It's called meeting people where they are. So there are going to be some clients who can invest in your $10,000 program, but there are going to be other clients who can only invest in your $27 program. Well, guess what? Meet them where they are and offer both of them at the same time so that you're generating all of that revenue. And if I only have 2 people who sign up for $10K for this, but I had 200 people who signed up for my $27 program. Let's do the math. 200 times 27. That's $5,400 in your bank account for that 1 month. That $27 product can be something that you pre-recorded. You recorded it one time or created it one time and you resell it over and over. You're just repurposing the content. That's all you're doing. So anything that's going to be somewhere between it could be a $7 per product. It could be 27. It could be 47, 67, right? And we use the number 7 because that's the number that typically connects with people's brains are wired to believe, oh, that's a steal. That's a deal. Right? Versus 69, 49. Like when there's something about the number 7, there's a positive association with the number 7. So that's why we typically will say, you can get it today for $19.97 or for $4.97 or for $27. There's something about that number 7 that's directly connected to our brain in terms of wiring that, that's a positive. So that's why if you hear us say numbers that end in 7, that's normally why you'll hear information experts doing that. So you can have a membership program, and that membership program, that's like recurring income every single month. Hey, it's $19 a month. Here's what you get. Or it's $27 a month or $17 a month, whatever it is that you decide. There are memberships that I'm a part of. I pay every single month. Haven't been to a meeting in 2 years, but I pay because I still want to be recognized as a member of that organization. So do not discount those low ticket price items where you have to have a high volume of it in order for it really to make a difference. So you can have both low ticket, high volume, or high ticket price and low volume. So you could say, all right, for my $10,000 program, I'm only going to enroll 10 people. Can somebody do the math? 10 people enrolled in your $10,000 program for the year Hello, you've hit your 100K. You've hit your 100K. So it's up to you to keep showing up in the marketplace as an expert who has their solution. That means you got to self-promote. You got to be on social media. You got to do your Facebook lives. You got to talk about what you do. You got to share testimonials and experiences of other people who have worked with you, who have achieved results. All of those things are critical. Other things that you can do to cross the 100K in terms of deliverables and offerings, guys, digital products, meaning, again, pre-recorded audio trainings, pre-recorded video trainings, anything that's repurposed content. I had a program that I did like 2 years ago. And at the time, I think I did the program for like, it was like $997. I came back 2 years later, offered the exact same program that was already recorded for like $197. And all they got were, they just got all of the classes. There were like 12 classes. So they got the replay of all 12 classes. Guys, we pulled in over $11,000 from that $197 product that I had recorded 2 years previous. So go back and repurpose some of your archive content. Digital boot camp events. No, we can't do things live right now, but you can still do it digitally and add just as much value. You can do your ebooks. You can sell those. Like if you have something that's really, really popping, it's powerful, and you say, hey, I'm selling this ebook for $7. I want 200 people to, it's available to 200 people. That's another $1,400 in your bank account. Like add the numbers up. That quick, we talked about a $5,400 product. We talked about $1,400. You're already crossing your 10K. You're way beyond your 8333. That's how you're going to cross 100K, by not putting all your eggs in one basket. Subject matter downloadables and printables like checklists and templates and questionnaires and assessments. You can do tutorials. You can sell that stuff at almost nothing, especially right now because everybody's in the digital platform. There are people who have programs that normally are $500 and they're selling it for $27. Right? You got to jump on the bandwagon and stay relevant and give people what they need right now, not what they needed 6 months ago, because we're in a different climate than we were 6 months ago. So show up, be flexible, give people what they need right now. And then the last one is also bundle offers. So you could bundle a pre-recorded webinar with a subject matter downloadable that they can print. And you can say, hey, you get these 2 training sessions, video training sessions, plus these 2 ebooks, plus the assessment and the checklist, and you get all of that for $47, something like that. But you can do a lot with bundle programs. Do I have 5 more minutes, maybe? Okay. I know we got started a little bit late, so I just wanted to finish this off for you guys. Here's what I want you to remember in terms of meeting people where they are. Always remember that there are 3 types of buyers. There are price buyers, there are relationship buyers, and there are value buyers. Price, relationship, and value buyers. So price buyers are the people who are always going to be looking for the lowest price, right? And that's okay. You don't have to be like, well, they not for me. No, just have something that serves them, right? Instead of saying, and I'm only talking about this because I used to do it. I'd be like, oh, they must not know, about my expertise and how much I put in and how much right? Like I had to get out of my own way and say, not everybody can start at the high level. Not everybody's going to be a relationship or a value buyer. There are going to be price buyers. The question is, do I have something for them to buy? So have something available for the price buyers. Okay. They looking for the lowest hair. You can get access to this video training I did. It's only $7. Hey, you can get access to this bundle. It's only $47. Hey, right? Have something for them. Then there are relationship buyers. Relationship buyers are those who are looking to develop trust and dependable relationships with their coaches, with their trainers, with their suppliers. So they want to be able to feel like you understand them, you know them, you are connected to them in a meaningful way. That is why I chose to invest at the level I did with Lisa Nichols, because I wanted her to know me in a meaningful way. I didn't want her to just know me as another person who attended another session that she had. No, I want you to know who Cheryl Wood is. I want you to know who I'm becoming. I want us to have a meaningful relationship. And so now if I'm on a class, she'll be like, oh, that's my girl, Cheryl. I have a direct connection to her. I have her on speed dial in my phone. Sometimes we just say hey to each other. Like I wanted that level. So for me, that was a relationship buy, it definitely wasn't a price buy, but it also wasn't necessarily value. It was relational. Okay. And then there are people who are value buyers, and the value buyers are specifically saying, hey, I want the greatest value I can possibly get. And these are typically the people who will invest in your premium packages because they want the greatest experience possible. They want the greatest value that you can add to them, which normally is going to be your high tier premium level offers, maybe your VIP day, maybe your $10,000 program, or even if you have a $20,000 program or something else. They are typically the people who want to be in the elite group. They want that close access to you. And the closer people have access to you, the more access they have, the higher the investment. Some of you are giving, you're not crossing 100K because you're giving your good stuff away too cheap. You're giving your good stuff away too cheap. So when someone is able to pick up the phone and talk to you directly, when someone is able to get you directly on video, when someone is able to have individualized, customized time and attention from you, that must be your premium offerings, not your low offerings. So don't get them confused, because if you're giving low offerings, if you're adding access, great access to you in a low offering, why would I ever sign up for your high offers? Which means I'm probably not going to cross the 100K because everybody's running to sign up for that low program because they get you anyway. So there has to be a distinction in the value, not the value, but in the access, right? Because you want to give great value no matter whether it's a $7 program or a $99.97 program. But the access to you is what has to shift and has to be different. So just know what buyer you are creating your opportunities for, your invitations to work with. Okay, hey, I have this thing over here. I have these three offers over here. They're for my price buyers. Okay, I have these three offers. These are for my relationship buyers. Okay, and then you can market them and promote them. And based on the feedback that comes in and people who perhaps sign up, now you're able to kind of segment them into groups, and then you can offer them something else. And maybe some of the people who come in as price buyers will end up transitioning over to a relationship buyer or a value buy. Your job is to give them value no matter where they start off with you, always. And then you always want to make sure that you are creating offers, what I call versatile learning styles. So this is what you should ask yourself. What are my offers for people who are visual learners? What are my offers for people who are auditory learners? And what are my offers for people who are kinesthetic learners? So they're going to be people who learn differently. So for me, don't send me no pre-recorded video. It ain't going to work. It's just not going to work, Tara. I just can't do it. I will never, do you know how many programs I signed up for in the past and I never touched them because they were pre-recorded? I know that about myself, that I'm a visual learner, either visual, I'm a combination between visual and kinesthetic. Like I either need to be touching, doing, feeling something, like I need to be in it, or I need to be watching you live. Like you cannot give me something where I have to go listen to it and it was pre-recorded. For me, that doesn't work. For some people, they love it because they can stop it, they can pause it, they can rewind, they can replay, they can look at it over and over and over again, and they love that. You have to know that there are going to be versatile learning styles in the marketplace amongst your target audience, and then ask yourself, what do I have for each of those types of learners? So we're expanding our mindset about how to cross 100K by taking a deeper dive into what our offers are for the different types of people in the marketplace. The type of learning style they have, the type of buyer that they are, all of those things are important. And then I'll close with this, last but not least. I mean, there's so much more I could share with you guys, but we're on a time frame and I want to be respectful of the time. I think a biggest part of you crossing 100K is what I call my 3-part expert formula, which is show up, speak up, and follow up. Like that has to be on just a constant cycle. I show up, I speak up, I follow up. So show up meaning you show up and you show up as an expert. And an expert is going to show up how? They're going to be confident, they're going to be competent, and they're going to be credible. So are you showing up confident with your shoulders up, right? And making sure your head up, and especially in the digital space now that we're doing this, do you look the part? Because I'm sorry, if you look in a raggedy hot mess for a planned training, I got a problem with that. Sorry. Now it's a difference between an impromptu training or lesson and a planned training. I would never get on my training session that I do with my vocalized speakers, certification speakers. I would never get on that training in sweats with my hair not done and some makeup on. Never. I would never do that because I'm not looking the part or playing the part. But if I am dropping my kids off at school in the morning and I get hit with a powerful thought and I want to share it with you, that's impromptu. That's very different. You're going to catch me in all of my mommy glory. No makeup, in sweatpants. So there's a difference in impromptu and plan. If you're planning a webinar and you know you're going to be on the screen, dress the part, play the part. Like, you got to fill the shoes that you want to fill long before you ever fill them. You got to at least step into those shoes. And people who are respected experts don't show up looking a hot mess. They show up playing the part. You would not show up looking a hot mess for an interview for a job that you really wanted. Well, guess what? Every single day, you are being interviewed by potential customers who might hire you. Why would you dare show up at any gig not ready for the part? So you got to show up. Also, in terms of show up, not just show up physically, but mentally ready to serve, ready to pour, ready to give great energy. Like, you can't have a negative energy or a low energy, but you expect me to be fired up about your offer. Like, if you're not fired up about it, I'm not going to be fired about it. If you're not excited about it, I'm not excited about it. If you don't believe in it, I can feel that. And I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy into something you don't even believe in. Like, you guessing, you hoping it's going to work. No, I need to know that you know and have confidence and belief in this. That's what we talk about, confidence. And then competence. Oh, this has worked for me. It's worked for other people who have worked with me. And credibility. I know that what I'm going to present to you is a viable solution. Like, I know everything that I'm going to teach you is going to work. Why? Because I've been there, done that, been through the mud, been through the valleys, been through the pain of getting paid with a thank you and a ham sandwich as a speaker, way before I started commanding $10,000 a gig as a speaker, way before I started getting booked for NASA and FBI. Like I know what it's like to start at the bottom and then to grow. So I can teach based on what I know. And that's huge too when you show up. Teach what you know, not what you think is going to work in theory. Oh, I hope this is going to work. I think this might work for y'all. No, you should have already tried it. You should already experience the ups, the downs, highs, lows, and the failures. Come out on the other side, and now you can teach me how to avoid the pitfalls and the potholes. Okay? So show up. Number 2, speak up, again, with confidence, competence, and credibility. Speak up meaning, again, you have to tweak things, especially now, tweak your message to make it applicable for now. When you're speaking up about something, don't apply it to what was happening 6 months ago or a year ago. It's not quite as relevant for me to teach somebody right now, oh, hey, this is how you get booked for live speaking engagements, when ain't nobody booking live speaking engagements. Most of the engagements I was booked for, hired for, have been rescheduled to the fall and the winter months or into next year. So they're still going to happen, but they're not going to happen when they were supposed to. I had a number of engagements that have been rescheduled. So it makes more sense now for me to take a deep dive into digital training and how do you leverage digital platforms and how do you share your story in a digital way and how do you show up ready for the opportunity digitally, because that's the world and the space that we're in. And then last but not least, follow up. And follow up is simply to nurture past interest. This is a great time to nurture past interest, people who have expressed interest. Maybe they sent you an email, maybe they sent a contact form through your website, or maybe they even signed up for a freebie that you offered. That's interest. If someone goes to your website or goes to a link that you've provided and signs up and gives you their information for something free that you're offering, that means they valued it, which means they are now a prospect, someone that you can potentially convert into a paying customer. So just because they start off on the free path doesn't mean you keep them on the free path. It's your job to nurture the interest and follow up so that you move them over to the customer path, the paid customer path. So you got to follow up and connect with anybody who's considered a warm lead, and just keep creating, keep lead generating, and keep collaborating during this time of uncertainty. Like, even though the time is uncertain, you can't be uncertain about the fact that your voice is needed more now than ever before. You can't go in a downward spiral and just sit on the couch and Netflix and chill. Like, you might do that a little bit later in the evening for a couple hours, but during the day, get up, get off the couch, do something, create something, collaborate with somebody, sell something, offer something, call somebody, nurture some warm leads. That's how you get across the 100K, is by showing up, being consistent, being credible, and never allowing any circumstance, no matter how uncertain it is, to stop you from being in motion. And I'm going to turn it back over to Tara.
Wow. Okay. Dang. Drop the mic. Why don't you? Okay. So I love what you said as far as mastery, clarity. We even talked about that yesterday with Jack. Jack Daniels, the clarity part is very important. The visibility, we talked about this. I'm an introvert, but then I had to realize it ain't about me. I'm not all doing these because I want to see myself, right? I'm doing someone a disservice if I do not share or put myself out there to share my expertise, right? People don't know you're in business until you tell them you're in business. The credibility, is very important. The authenticity. Y'all know me. I'm the same chick. I promise you, she the same chick. The way she is right now, she the same chick when we're a little bit more fun at the bar, but we relatively the same chicks, right? Transparency, telling your story, because that's going to be someone's breakthrough. I had a session this morning, and she was telling me about her story, and I was like, you're doing a whole lot of women disservice by not sharing your story, because they're suffering in silence. Yeah. And your job is to let them know that they are not alone and that you have a solution. So I love that consistency. Why y'all think I'm on here every single night? Really? You gotta be consistent. And that leads to profitability. I love those 8 pillars of being successful. And you broke down the numbers. We did the math, right? She got the calculator out. So no way. It's not like
right here. This thing's next to me.
It's not a figure of speech or whatever. This chick broke out the calculator. Okay, let's add this. Yeah, that totals $100,000, right? So, I hope you took your notes. Cheryl, thank you so much for sharing and pouring into the dualpreneurs. How can we continue to connect with you or sign up for your programs? Where can we go to even social media follow you too?
Yeah, so you can connect with me on social media. My handle is Cheryl Empowers. That's on everything: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Cheryl Empowers. And my website is also CherylEmpowers.com. And I actually do have a free gift there, which is a template, talking about a juicy thing that pulls people in, right? We talk about the importance of your story, but a lot of people are like, well, how do I even pick what my signature story is? I don't even know. So I actually have a template that you can work through. It's downloadable and it's printable at CherylEmpowers.com. And it's my signature story template. And it helps you at least to get the fundamentals of how do I start narrowing down what would be my signature story that I would consistently share as an information expert, because people remember and repeat stories, not bullet points. So CherylEmpowers.com is the website and where you get the free gift, and at Cheryl Empowers is my social media handle on all the social